My name is Ankit Durbha. I'm 14 years old, and I'm a freshman at Enloe High School. I'm a passionate tech enthusiast and an expert at wasting time. I can confidently say that I've wasted endless hours building robots and machines that serve little purpose. In fact, some could say that I learned more from tinkering than sitting in a classroom. I learned science not by memorizing vocabulary, but by deeply understanding the world around me. Sometimes it could be as simple as playing with a straw in a restaurant and learning the principles of air pressure. Or it could be a magic trick that uses air pressure to levitate a card. Similarly, I didn't learn coding through the brute force memorization of syntax, but by experimenting with computers. My earliest memories of algorithmic thinking revolved around playing a silly robot game with my dad, where we would have to give him precise instructions to do a task. Oftentimes, this would result in him crashing into a wall because my instructions weren't precise enough. Besides the endless fun, I also experienced some first-hand algorithmic thinking, which set the stage for my later projects with robots. I also spent countless hours observing the complex dynamics of Hot Wheels cars, yet another gem from the Ultimate Time Wasters playbook. I wasted an entire summer trying to add 1 + 1 with toy cars. While I had a lot of fun releasing my inner child, I learned a lot about logic gates and the fundamentals of the computation. So after years of wasting time, I have a hypothesis. What if playful exploration is a better way to learn? Well, research shows that playful exploration and organic learning blur the line between work and play, making learning feel like an adventure rather than a chore. When we experiment freely, we engage multiple senses, strengthen problem-solving skills, and spark creativity in ways that feel natural and exciting. My topic for Stories Beyond Boundaries is about challenging the abstract line between work and play. I used to hear adults tell kids, finish your work and then you can go play. But why must work and play be treated as two completely separate things? Why can't we make learning into a playful experience for people to enjoy? I think that the benefits of playful exploration are most evident in computer science education. Computer science should feel like an open world game, full of thrilling discoveries, creative problem solving, and the occasional bug that makes you question reality. But how can we get students engaged when the way it's taught in most US schools feels more like an endless grind? Let's look at some numbers. Sure, 58% of US high schools offer foundational computer science courses, but if only 6.7% of students are actually enrolling, something is clearly off. That's like saying half the food that the school cafeteria serves is vegetables, but nobody's touching them. So what's the problem? Well, as someone who's explored computer science through playful experimentation, I bet the issue lies in how it's taught. Too often, computer science education is reduced to memorizing technical jargon and matching code snippets like it's a vocab quiz. But code isn't meant to be studied like ancient Latin. It's meant to be built, broken, and debugged. Learning computer science should feel like solving puzzles, hacking together projects, and pushing buttons just to see what happens. Not just defining polymorphism on a test and moving on, which, if you were curious, allows objects of different types to be treated as objects of a common superclass, but I'm sure you already knew that. We all know how important computer science education is to advancing our society. After all, who's going to build your, seemingly useless YouTube-enabled smart fridge? But if you think about it, even that requires algorithmic thinking. Is merely one of infinite possibilities which you unlock when you learn computer science. But when we strip away the exploration and make it just another subject to be memorized, we turn a world of infinite possibilities into yet another class with a textbook that somehow makes Python look unfun. We need to bring back the joy of tinkering, encourage trial and error without punishment, and let students learn by actually building things. Because, let's be honest, nobody falls in love with computer science by memorizing syntax rules. They fall in love when they write their first game, automate something ridiculous, or finally fix a bug that's been haunting them for hours. Now that's an education worth signing up for. But the question now is how? Well, if we want to make playful exploration a reality in education, we need to change how we approach learning, not just in computer science, but in every subject. Schools should encourage hands-on projects, curiosity-driven problem solving, and the freedom to experiment without the fear of failure. Instead of treating mistakes as setbacks, we should see them as the stepping stones to discovery. Imagine a classroom where students aren't just memorizing equations, but building circuits, coding simulations, or even constructing machines just to see what happens. That's the kind of learning that sticks. But playful exploration doesn't have to be limited to the classroom. In fact, some of the best learning happens when we're left to tinker, explore, and waste a little time on our own. This is why I decided to write my book called 101 Ways to Waste Your Time, a detailed guide discussing the depths of scientific time wasting. Because, let's be honest, some of the greatest discoveries in history started as someone just messing around. Think about it. If Newton hadn't had the time to sit under that apple tree, would we even be here talking about gravity? Who knows what brilliant ideas we'd be missing? That quiet moment of wondering, why did that apple fall? Changed the world forever. Sometimes it's not the hustle, but the pause. The time to mull, explore, and tinker that leads to real learning. For me, that's the sweet spot of discovery, when curiosity meets unstructured time and something magical clicks. Learning doesn't always need a lesson plan. Sometimes it just needs space to play. Playful exploration isn't just about making learning fun. It's about unlocking creativity, pushing boundaries, and finding new ways to solve problems. If we embrace this mindset, we won't just create better students, we will create better thinkers, better innovators, and maybe even a few more expert time wasters. In a world where we are constantly scrambling to check the next item off our to-do lists, I think we could use a few more time wasters. The kind who pause, play, and tinker. Because it's in those moments that the most meaningful learning happens. Thank you.